This is Dan O'Seely doing the HCM 2.0 presentation. And today I'd like to talk to you about 3 challenges businesses are facing in regards to their HR process. The first one is really why HR is being required to evolve. Things are changing rapidly and you have to stay ahead of those trends, otherwise you may fall behind. 2 is what HR progressions are needed to best drive business success. And then lastly, how ADP would be able to help transform HR for you guys, so your business from that. So there's 4 real ways that we're currently experiencing this. The first is the changing economic and political climates. So at no time besides now has deregulation or regulation been changing at such a rapid pace, and you have to stay up with that to stay compliant with everything that you're doing. The second is the digital revolution. This is essentially the 4th revolution that we're currently having. Everything is online or through your phone on a computer rather than pen and paper like it was back in there. So being up with those changes is also big. The augmented workforce. A story of that, my dad used to work for Kodak and he used to develop film. Kodak really didn't evolve. They might have in the camera game a little bit, but once digital cameras came or disposable cameras came, he was kind of out of a job. So making sure how it affects them, the employee, and how it also affects the business and how you need to evolve to stay relevant and to stay essentially on top of your game. And then lastly, kind of just changing in talent demands. So it's not the way that things were before, and talent demands are different, and there's a legit war on talent, and we can kind of get into that as well. So for the first time ever, I guess I apologize, the labor markets have definitely tightened, and your workforce is the most important thing that you have going for you, because that's what essentially drives your sales. And for the first time ever, there have been more job openings than there have been people able to fill those positions. So in the Denver area, the unemployment rate is actually at a 2% limit, and then the national average, I believe, is under 5. So for the first time ever, there are more job openings than there are total candidates going for those jobs. There are a lot of reasons for that. The baby boomers are retiring, freeing up a lot of those jobs. People are staying in school longer, so instead of a lot of people just jumping into the workforce, they go to the 4-year colleges, sometimes even grad school right on top of that. Also, you have the gig economy, so people working a bunch of part-time jobs, maybe Uber in the afternoon while they bus tables in the morning. So they're finding work, they have jobs, and they're doing it at their own leisure, at their own pace, at what they feel comfortable with. So there really is a war on talent, and by 2020, 50% of the workforce will be millennials, and for the first time ever, there is 5 generations in this current workforce. So that's able to be flexible, and understanding the needs of all of those generations is key. So how HR must evolve. Since the 70s, business productivity has kind of gone up at a 1.3% rate throughout time. In that same case, since the 70s, technology has grown literally almost exponentially in the last 10 years. And that gray area is really where we can improve. So the gap between business performance and potential is really where we're kind of missing the boat. We're seeing a lot of businesses miss the boat as far as getting the most out of their people while also taking advantage of the technology. I heard somewhere that the technology that people have at home is more advanced than the technology that they have at work. So with that, people are getting frustrated with how they're able to get things done with everything that's going on in the workplace now. So, but yeah, just a second. And Deloitte did a study and it interviewed over 10,000 businesses, and the strategies that really helped companies get ahead in the past are the ones that no longer will actually get them there in the future. In the past, they really focused on leadership and performance, or things of that nature. But now people are looking at the future, like the organization's future. They're looking at careers and learning, things of that nature. When we talked about millennials, they're no longer in it for the paycheck. I mean, obviously they are, but when it comes to having experience behind what they're doing. I know one of the reasons I chose ADP is because I was a sociology social work major, and I love volunteering and giving back. ADP gives us 8 hours extra that we can use to go volunteer at our own time. So that's just an example of how they're able to engage millennials or engage some of their employees that want to do more than just punch the clock, come in, and then go home. So it's always just something to think about as well. So yeah, as far as that is concerned, in summary, the old way of managing people isn't working. The labor markets are tightening, and the workforce is at the epicenter of what your people are the most important part of what you do, essentially. So what HR progressions are needed to best drive business success? So basically what I'm going to show you here is kind of what the HR design is looking like right now. So you have your generalists, your leaders, and then your specialists. And then there's the things that kind of drive the business, the programs, the consultation, building that culture, doing employee reviews, things of that nature, like growing your people instead of just managing them and not really caring about them. And then there's the operations or the transactional side of things. Those are, your HR, your payroll, X, Y, and Z, things you have to do to stay compliant and stay in business. They're not fun, but they're high risk, so you have to have them done. And then the goal is really to, and then as far as tomorrow's goals is to bring that down so the generalists can free up some time. The leaders don't have to worry about a lot of those transactional items, and the specialists can focus more on their specialties and then also driving that. So this is the competencies. I kind of discussed this a little bit before. So the transactions, the compliance, and the service, that's where your HR team is currently spending most of their time, while as the employee experience, the culture, and the talent, they don't have a lot of time to spend on that because they're bogged down with all of the transactional items. We see in a lot of businesses that this ratio is about 80% transactional and 20% strategical as far as the employee experience is concerned. So really we're trying to slide that over for you and showing you how to do that. So what HR progressions are needed to best drive business success? So as far as the HR digital strategy, we kind of break it into 2 ways. So there's the digital competence. So that is, how can technology enhance and support how you manage, how you do things. And then the digital transformation is, how can technology reshape what you do. A good example of how the first one, so the digital competence, so this is back, it's not even that even long ago. Let's go back in the 1980s, digital competence. So you needed a light bulb, a specialty light bulb. What did you do back in the day? You broke out the old yellow pages and you looked up where you could get a specialty light bulb from. Great. Then I'd look in that Sunday paper and grab those coupons that I found for the X, Y, and Z store I was going to, and clipped it out, and I was ready to go. So I hopped in my car and I grabbed my map, pulling that out, not while driving because that's unsafe, but like mapping out a route on how to actually get there. Found the light bulb and paid cash or wrote a check, and those are time consuming and great. Then I had my light bulb and I was a happy camper. And then the digital competence of this would essentially be, what do we do today? It's a little different, but like the competence part would be going onto Google, typing up, I need a light bulb, specific X, Y, and Z, where can I get it from? I then go to coupons.com, clip out a coupon or print it off, and I'm ready to go. Instead of pulling out a map, I just pull out my phone and map out, the Google Maps, and it'll tell me where to go. And I'll pay with my Apple Wallet or my Apple iPay, depending on how you like to do things. and I got my light bulb, and I'm a happy camper. So the digital transformation is a little bit different. So in this situation, you're like, oh, I need my light bulb. And then it's literally saying, I need my light bulb, Alexa. Could you get that for me? And Alexa says it's on its way. In this situation, it's so easy that it could be there within the hour, or worst case scenario, 2 business days. Like it's ridiculous. So the transformation is all the things that go on. It's really taking away a lot of those processes and then just streamlining it into one little thing. So that's the digital transformation and the difference that we're seeing. So in a summary for this, the HR progressions and what best drives businesses to succeed is organizational design transformation. So bringing down a lot of those transactional things and focusing more on the strategic side of things, competency in transformation, and then the digital transformation. So understanding that you do need a change, and then just kind of streamlining everything to free up your people's time. And then lastly, how can ADP help businesses transform HR? And why ADP? Because we have brilliant ideas. And when I say that, I mean the data that we collect, no one else has. We have 5,300, or it was 500,000, over 500,000 clients essentially. So we're able to take that data. We work with the Hackett Group with their studies with benchmarking and things of that nature to give insight that no one else can out there. Second is we're talent focused on the future. So we understand that you need to evolve to stay alive. An example of this was the Kodak situation. Also, if you've heard the Applebee's situation, they're closing down over 200 stores because people don't, eat the same way that they did 20, 30 years ago. They didn't capture enough to evolve. So it's really important to focus on that, and we here do a great job of that. And then lastly, the humanity behind the technology. So having a purpose for what you're currently doing. Like I said before, what ADP does as far as the volunteering is big. So having, purpose behind what you guys are doing is big as well. So yeah. So how can ADP modernize their HR function? How we're really able to help is that we've created a ecosystem of processes that would be able to help you. And with that, they are customizable. No two businesses are the same, just like a snowflake, so we can customize exactly what you need. How can ADP help transform the HR infrastructure? So what we're talking about today is that's what we're dealing with today as far as the allocation and everything of that. So with that, the transactional items are things that you still need to take care of. The HR programs and business consultation are things that really drive your business goals and get you where you want to go. So with that, there's the first part would really be the technology piece, in which we would be able to help you out with our HR programs, benefits, and payroll. The next program would be our payroll services and our comprehensive services. And then lastly, we have our PEO, or our total source solution. So a good way I like to put this is you can start with our technology. So just your iPhone. So you just have your iPhone. You have to figure out how it all works and do everything that goes along with it. Or you can go with an iPhone and my 12-year-old niece. She will come over and help you out whenever you need help. She'll get way more out of your iPhone than you ever thought possible. So you can focus on other things rather than doing whatever. Or we can do your iPhone, my 12-year-old niece, and Apple Care. So you never really have to worry about anything. There's no risk if you drop your phone. We're always kind of there for you as far as like an ADP thing. So that's how I like to humanize the process for potential customers. So how can ADP help for HR upskill? So what we talked about before, and what we're seeing a lot of businesses at, they're focusing about 80 to 90% on those transactional items, the compliance services, the payroll. the HIRS, the benefit management, ACA, ASO, payroll outsourcing, benefit admin outsourcing, and then PEO. That's just a long list of things that we would be able to kind of take off your plate so that your HR team could focus more on the employee experience, the culture, the talent, the revenue driving activities. So the product connection and the talent activation system, analytics, benchmarking, recruitment outsourcing, talent management consulting, a lot of the fun stuff. Like, people got into HR for those reasons. I don't know too many people that are excited to run payroll. So yeah. So kind of tying it back to the digital competence and how technology can enhance and support, and then the transformation. It's with the light bulb that I was talking about before. We have to kind of take a new approach with everything. So you know, you have all of that data and all the things that you're currently doing, but it's a lot of processes and it's a lot of transactional type activities. And then with the connection, we're able to kind of streamline a lot of that with our ADP ecosystem of solutions that be able to assist your need. And the digital transformation would really kind of just be streamlining everything so you can slow down with all of your transactional activities. So how ADP can help, we have the depth and breadth of offerings to align with any business and any strategy. So I appreciate your time, and set that whatever.